Okay, welcome to my presentation. I am Van Alfred. I'll be representing how to check for outlier or how to identify outlier in your data. So this checking will take place by the use of Stata. So I'll use Stata as the tool. First of all, you need to load the data into a Stata. So in my case, since I have the data, then I'll open the file. I'll take this data and load. Okay, now I've loaded this data. So on outlier, for one to find or to check an outlier, you need to follow three methods. So the first method can be by sorting. The second method can be graphical or use of graph. And finally, can be non-graph methods. So to begin with, sorting methods. On sorting methods, what you have to do, you have to type here, sort. So you type on command window, sort. And in this case, I'll use a variable which is wedge. I'll be using wedge as my variable. So write sort, then wedge, like this, then press enter, like this. Yeah, then you go back to this data, that is data editor browser, and you can see here wedge has been sorted starting with the smallest, and it will be ending up to the largest value. Can you see this is the largest value, which is 76, this one, 76.39. So 76.39 is our outlier. As you can see, it is very far. All of them 72, 72 something, 72, 13, 72, 13. But this one is only the highest among all. So this is the first method. Now the second method is by graphical, or that is by the use of graph. So on the use of the graph, what you have to do here, first of all, I'll use graph box to determine the outlier or to identify the outlier. So on graph box, what you have to do is you go to command window and type graph in small letters, graph, then box, then here you add the variable here, then press enter. So as you can see, now we have this like in a percentile form. And as you can see, you see this one is our outlier. So this is our outlier representing 76.39. This one seconded by this one. So this part you can know for sure that this is our outlier, which is 76.39, and the second by this one is very far. And another one, you can use histogram. So on histogram, you can press here on command, write histogram, like this, then write this one, the variable, which is the wedge which I'm using here. Then here you press a comma, then you write frequency, like this. Then press enter. You see it is giving you a histogram here. In this data, you see this distribution, population distribution, as you can see the way it is. You see this one, and I'll try this part, which is shown here. And it's seconded by this bar. So you have an outlier this side, which is at least differ from the others in this population distribution. So this is how you can also identify or check for an outlier. That means you have an outlier here by the use of histogram. Another one is by the use of spike plot. So on spike plot, also you do the same. Just write spike, then write spike plot. So spike plot, then spike plot should be on this variable, which is weight. Then you press enter. Can you see here? It is showing this one is an outlier, as you can see, seconded by this one. In this population distribution, as you can see, it's just like it's a positive, it's just scaled in a positive direction. So this one is our outlier and seconded by this. So with this you can determine that you have an outlier in your data. Now on this one, on graph method, that means this one is the last one. So in this case, that means you have looked at 3 methods which you can use to determine an outlier using graph method. The first one was by use of graph box plot, and the other one is histogram, and lastly spike. Now, as I said, you can also use non-graph methods. That one is known as extreme methods, which is used to check the outlier. Now, what you can do here, just write on command window extremes. Then here you click the variable. Now, if I click this variable here, I have to write a comma, then interquartile in abbreviation, then brackets. I use the 1.5 as my measurement, and then have to press enter. Yeah, you can see here how the outlier here is 76. If you can start from the beginning, that is from here, see 1.55, 1.5 something here, 1.695 and the like, here 1.8 and the like, and you continue going. Find that when you are scrolling, you reach 2.2, 2.289, then 3 point something, 3.2 and the like here. As you can see, the last one it is having 3.530, which is also the highest. So you can know that this one is an outlier. So in this case, that means you can be assisted to know by the use of extreme methods of checking an outlier. So in summary, what we have looked at the 3 methods which you can use in order to determine or identify or check for an outlier on the data, which are sorting methods, graphical methods, and non-graphical methods. Thank you very much for attending my presentation.